I'm a creator at war with his own creativity that only wants to come around when things suck really bad. How does that affect my family? And how does it affect me? Let's figure it out. Hello again. Welcome back. You can call me Jekyll Jaws. Not only do I have a questionable man bun, but I also have a Raptor shirt. Perfect combination of questionable fashion sense and nostalgia necessities. I'm gonna go right into poetry, so warning, this one gets a little more sad, a little more serious, but it has a story and it has application because I had an interesting day simply because I was trying to add on to it. So, here we go. Why do you only show up when the songs are minor and all I can think about is death? You lie there in your hole, ignoring my attempts to wake you, unless I think about Tommy hanging there like an ornament, or how Grandma asked why I didn't visit sooner before dying the next day. You are a detestable behemoth who only comes closer the less I sleep and the more conflict I force-feed myself. So what's interesting is every time I read a poem, whether I just wrote it or it's a little older, I instantly get sucked back into the feelings I felt when I wrote it. And unexpectedly, I had a little more emotion show up than I thought I would. But backstory. I hate parts of myself, and though I love being creative, the creativity itself, when embodied, seems like a thing that wants me to fail. Because the only time that I can conjure up good creativity is when either I'm depressed, my life is going bad, or I attempt to bring my creativity out and it starts to suck happiness out of the surrounding area. Sometimes I even have these little conversations in my head, which probably sounds incriminating, but I'll want to make something and I'll think to myself, man, what should I really do? And then I hear this tiny little voice inside that's like, hey, you remember that time? What time? There's been lots of times.
Oh, you know, that one time where that person that you really love?
No. Don't do it.
Oh, you do know the time.
Don't do it.
La 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 la. I'm not listening, I'm not listening, I'm not listening. Times where things were bad!
So today, my family and I went to the zoo. And I wasn't driving, I brought a little notebook, and I had the idea that maybe I should add to this poem. So I quickly sat in the van, we got ready to go, and I thought I was gonna write something. So out loud, I wonder, what should I put? And reflexively, like a wife would want to, started to try and help me. I clamped down, I got suddenly grumpy, and I brushed her off. She obviously didn't respond to that very well. Who would? I ended up saying that I was just thinking out loud. And by the end of it, it turned into me saying, I won't talk. My formidable and I'm not going to play your games wife tells me, fine, if you're not going to talk to me, then don't. And so for the whole ride, and almost 3/4 of the time we were at the zoo, I didn't say a word. I was just quiet. And what was interesting is it started out as a temper tantrum and then turned into an opportunity for me to realize that sometimes my big stupid fat mouth doesn't need to be running. Because I guarantee you that whole time we were at that zoo, if I just went in there normal, like I usually do, unbalanced, I would have been snapping and freaking out and super stressed out just because they were touching things, looking things, saying things too loud. Who knows what I could have conjured up? And what was funny is I kind of tried to think of a way that it could have been her fault, and I tried to internally figure out how I could tell her that, express my feeling. But I was too entrenched already in giving myself the silent treatment that I just didn't say anything. And that was good because eventually I realized that I was the one that messed up. I was the one being a baby. So right off the bat, just because I was struggling with this need to make things bad so that I could be creative, instantly I started this weird silent tiff with my wife. And thankfully my wife's amazing, and it quickly got figured out after I got it all out of my system, and we talked about it and everything was fine, and I asked for forgiveness. But it had an effect on my kids that I didn't expect, and at the end I was almost thankful for the whole thing. So my kids got the chance to just be kids. They were able to be themselves because I wasn't constantly hovering over them trying to nip everything in the butt, because they were there to enjoy themselves. If I was constantly telling them not to grab on things and not to touch things and not to be too loud and to not make other people's lives inconvenient with children doing what they're supposed to be doing, being children, they couldn't have enjoyed themselves. And the main thing I got from experiencing that was every time I felt the urge to say something, which I did every time I would have, I didn't, because I was too anchored in being a baby, that I watched the time and opportunity pass and saw that the world didn't end and that everyone was still good and nothing bad happened. And so I realized that I needed to do more things like that, but without causing the initial problems that I did, so that I could show myself those parts of my mind that click into gear instantly when things start going wrong, that things can be okay if I don't say anything. So in the end, through that whole roller coaster of cause and effect, I ended up strengthening my relationship with my wife, seeing some new sides to how I can conduct myself with my own children, and saw a little glint of hope that I can learn to be better. So I started out the day being angry about my creativity, but just by stretching out the muscles a little bit, I was able to stumble upon some new skills that can help me be more balanced as a father, husband, and an all-around guy. Well, I think that's it for now. Thanks for stopping by. It's been fun, if you can call that fun. If you think I'm on the right track, if you think I'm doing something that's cool, talking about just random aspects about being a dad and how that works into mental health and interactions with other people, stick around, subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. And I will work to better what I'm doing and find cool stuff to talk about so that we could all figure it out together. Thanks. Ta-ta for now. And I'll see you next time. Peace.